Okay, Rabotai, I'm about to tell you here today something small but big about David HaMelech's wives. One of the wives that he had was a lady named Michal. Now, who was Michal? Michal was Shaul HaMelech's daughter. Shaul said, whoever is going to kill Goliath, I give him my daughter. So who went ahead and killed Goliath? David. Beautiful. So the king honors his word, and he gives David Michal. Now we all know the story that Shaul, something happened with Shaul and David where he's getting a little bit on the jealousy and this and that, everything that happened. He was chasing his son-in-law out of the house, basically. And he finally escapes. Many years later, David wants his original wife back. Now, at this stage of the Navi, Shaul HaMelech is dead. His son, Ishbosheth, now he took over the reign. And Avner was the general. Avner. Now, Avner, the general, he went ahead and he took Shaul HaMelech's concubine as a wife. Clear? He took Shaul HaMelech. Shaul HaMelech died. So Avner, which was the general of Shaul HaMelech, he took one of the wives, basically the concubine of the king that who passed away. Now Ishbosheth says, you can't do that. It's because they own the king. You can't take the king's wife, even if he's dead. You can't do that. So he says, what do you mean? Avner says, I was the one who promoted you to be the king after Shaul died. Now you're going to get involved in my personal life? Says, if you don't drop this claim, I'm going to David's side. And he went, going to David's side. David said, I don't mind. But one of the things that David had in mind was, I have to get my old wife back, Michal. And if you want to have a peace treaty, you got to make sure that I get my old wife back. Now, at that time, David HaMelech's wife, Michal, was given to a man named Paltiel. Now, it says that if a married woman, heaven forbid, she had relations with another man, she can never go back to her original husband. However, now what's going on over here? Michal, Shaul HaMelech, gave his daughter to where? To a man named Paltiel after David. David ran off, and he gave Paltiel. Shaul held that the marriage between his daughter and David wasn't legitimate marriage, and therefore that's what he decided. Now, how could David take his old wife back, Michal? Only one wife. He had to know that she never had relations with this man. The Navi testified, came to David and testified, she's totally clean. Now the question is, what do you mean? So many years she's with this man, Paltiel. How can it be totally clean? And the answer is, Paltiel was a great tzaddik. Midrash brings down, he was such a great tzaddik. Some say the test that he had, Midrash says, the test that he had was even a bigger test than Yosef's test about Eshet Potifara. Because the test by Eshet Potifara, what? Yosef knew that's for sure asur. It's guaranteed, black and white, avera. But Paltiel might have thought the whole entire time, listen, at the end of the day, she's married to me. Who said that she was really originally married to David? Maybe it was an illegitimate marriage to David, and therefore she should be totally mine. So his Yetzer Hara was getting to him, thinking that maybe it's mutar to have relations. So imagine he is with his wife that Shaul HaMelech gave him, and you're not going to say no to the king. So Shaul, here, take my daughter, okay. So Paltiel is having his daughter. Imagine. But Paltiel, he says, I'm not taking even a chance. Maybe this is Averah, maybe it's not. And imagine, day in and day out, day in and day out. He has his wife there. No, can't do anything. Because maybe it's Averah, maybe you're an Eshet Ish, maybe you're already married woman to David HaMelech. I will not take a chance. Shaul, I have to take you in because Shaul is the king. He gave you, I'm not going to disobey the king. Over here, now, you can't. But, no touching, no relations. The time came where Michal was going back to David. Because that was the treaty now. Ishboshet, which was the king now, Shaul's son, took over, and Avner got involved, and they said, okay, we're going to give you back Michal. So, Paltiel was walking, escorting Michal to David halfway through, and it said that he was crying, he was very sad. Question is, why are you sad? Why are you sad? You know what the answer? The answer, he was sad because he had an ongoing test. And he was continuously passing. And he was continuously advancing with the Yetzer Hara. Of course, we don't bring upon ourselves the test. But the test was in front of him. And he was growing through the test. And it was a challenging moment in his life. And he was crying because now the challenge is over. Yeah. And really his name was Palti. Hashem added Aleph Lam with his name to call him Paltiel, because he was such a great man in that sense. But you know what great lesson you can learn from this is? Think about what just happened. He said, all these years, his emotions is driving him who knows what, and he's saying to himself, I am passing this test. And he passed it. He was crying at the end because this challenge in his life is over. Rabotai, every person in life has different challenges. No matter who you are, you're going to have a challenge in your life. No matter who you are. That's part of life. Nisyonot. Hashem tests us. He wants to make us great. Nisayon comes from the word nes. Nes is a banner that he lifts you up when you're passing that test. Now, we don't ask for the test. Like we say, Al tevi'eni lidei nisayon. But when a challenge in life comes to you, you have to understand, you have to embrace it, and you have to leap over it. And you have to be happy. Oh, I have a challenge in my life. Now I will overcome it. And everybody has different challenges. And to each his own. Sometimes a lady, she'll have a challenge of sni'ut, where she has to get to the next level. She has to race to that bar. She has to go higher. But she has to have to embrace it. She has to be happy. Oh, I have the challenge and I will overcome it. Sometimes a person has a challenge in waking up from minyan, and he will overcome it, and he will feel great. And I'll never forget, there's a famous story where Aaron Cutler, how a boy came over to him and told Aaron, said, Rabbi, I have no cheshek to learn. I have no desire to learn. I don't know torah. I don't know. And Rabbi Aaron said, I'm jealous of you. He says, why? He said, because I always have a desire to learn. But imagine your challenge that you have. You have no desire to learn, and you could overcome the challenge and learn anyway. How many times it's hard and the person's not in the mood to learn, go to class, and you overcome the challenge? You know, we have to be happy with that to overcome it. Because you know why? There's going to be a time, like Paltiel said, he was sad because the challenge was over. Once 120 comes, once a person dies from this world, he's called what? Niftar. What does the word niftar come from? Patur. What does it mean patur from? He's exempt. He's exempt from all the mitzvot. It's a shame. But when you still have a breath in your neshama, and a challenge comes to you, you say to yourself, thank you, Borei Olam, for this challenge that you gave me, that I could have the opportunity and the ability to overcome it, to leap over it. And there's different stages in a person's life. Before, when a person's single, he has the stage of being single. And there's different tests in his moment. And he passes that. Then he goes to marriage life. Then he has that shalom bayit. We're always complimenting his wives and getting along with another human being in your house, another spouse, and building a relationship. Then he has the challenge of raising children. Praying to Borei Olam, Hashem, please help me raise these children to become tzaddikim, tzadkaniyot. Then he has his a challenge of what? Of having son-in-laws, of having in-laws, of having daughter-in-laws. That's a whole different challenge in his life. And through life, a person, he has to learn from Paltiel that he was crying that, oh my goodness, my challenge is over. Sometimes a person has a test in his life, a challenge is like, oh, Shem, why'd you put me through there? Why do you do what? What are you doing? What are you doing? God gave you the best possible challenge that you could overcome so he could pull you up as a banner. So your schar in Shamayim, so your reward in Shamayim could be much, much greater. He's pulling you up to give you more reward. To give you more reward. So what are you complaining about? Say, it's hard for me. I'm happy it's hard for me. I'm going to overcome it, Hashem. With your help, I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to do my part. And this is what we have to learn from Paltiel. That when we have challenges, we embrace the challenge. We overcome the challenge with Hashem's help. And Bezrat Hashem, the reward of that is endless. Is overcoming.